Hello lovely people, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all well. Today we're going to talk about one of those things that makes you feel festive and know it's nearly the end of the year and just everything good about theatre at Christmas time. That is pantomime, my friends. The place we all go to enjoy theatre together as a family and have the best time, some really good fun. And this video is going to be all about Wolverhampton Grand's offering of the year, Snow White. And if you want to know my thoughts and feelings, stick around and we'll get into it in 2 whole seconds. So yeah, let's get into it. Firstly, you will see from the title on this video, but also in the description, that it was a gifted ticket. I have mentioned in the past that occasionally I write for the blog Theatre and Tonic, of which the review for this pantomime will be left in the description area. But obviously, for true transparency, I was gifted the ticket, but all of the thoughts and the feelings are my own. But getting that out of the way, let's get into it. Wolverhampton Panto for me is such a nostalgic thing. I think I said this last year when I did a similar video with last year's Panto, that for me it just brought up such memories of going as a child and teenager, and seeing the craziness and the slapstick and just the silly humour, which is kind of my humour, like epitomised. I truly enjoy watching it, and it's almost as good being both a child seeing panto or an adult watching it, because you see the different things. Obviously, as a child you have the magic of panto, you have the specialness of a story that's as old as time. Most pantomimes are of about 6 or 7 stories, and they kind of circulate over and over, and so you get to experience those for the first time. Also, in this pantomime at the Wolverhampton Grand this year, the children will love that 2 stars of CBeebies are on the case. They are characters in this show. So there is Evie Pickerel and also Yassi Sheppy. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly, because I'm probably not, and if I am not, I truly apologise. But they are 2 CBeebies favourites, I have been told. Obviously I don't have children myself, but I am aware of their work previously because I do work in that area. They are the classic romantic duo. They are Snow White and Prince William of Wonborn. If you're not from the Midlands, Wonborn is a place about 15 minutes outside of Wolverhampton, so it's relatively local. Plus, and I will get into this in a minute, giving him a name like Prince William does mean that you get to do the Willy jokes, and who doesn't love a Willy joke? Just asking. It's a joke that both children and adults can giggle at. I also enjoy the fact that although those 2 were playing characters, there was also chance for them to step outside those characters and interact slightly with the crowd, giving little waves and smiles, and points. It more so happened in the introduction of each character and also during the bows, kind of when it felt more welcome and more like allowed to do so, and the rest of the time they were their characters. But at the end of the day, pantomime is less about the story and more about the silliness. Am I right? Other reasons why children will enjoy is that there is magic there is sparkly flashing lights and colours, and there is even the most adorable two little, not little, human-sized animals of nature who help Snow White through her journey and through her story, and who even wear a wolf shirt at one point. I do really want to know who was in those costumes. I was trying to work it out. I assume it was ensemble members, but at the same time they were also on at the same time as the ensemble were, so I still don't know. But they were very cute, even though they were giant. And it's definitely something that I think the children would have enjoyed looking at. Now, we have touched on the adults in the room. I went on my own, and I'm 32. I had to think of that. No, I'm 33. And I still had an absolutely great time. There is obviously giggles to be had for both children and their adults. I have already mentioned the Willy jokes. There is also those kind of slightly silly, slightly rude, but not very rude jokes. The kind you expect from a pantomime, the kind of slightly on the nose comments and jokes. The writers of this pantomime, who is Ian Adams and Tam Ryan, who also play the Dame and the Dame's son respectively. They play Nurse Nanny Nolly and also Muddles, Ian being Nanny Nolly and Tam being Muddles. They have just put in some cracking jokes yet again. Those slightly tongue-in-cheek moments that you have children kind of around you looking at you with a kind of, why are you laughing at that? That's not funny. But yeah, it was just really a really funny pantomime this year. I was definitely giggling a hell of a lot, especially even at like the very slapsticky custard pie to the face kind of jokes. I have previously mentioned recently my love of mischief and that kind of comedy, and pantomime is just the epitome of that. This year, Tam Ryan's almost on the spot ad-libs were again top notch. It's always quite entertaining to see characters who are playing alongside him trying not to break character, especially the evil queen this year. She at one point did give him a little back because she was trying to be evil, but she was also giggling, and it's just excellent when that happens. I really enjoy when you kind of see someone slightly crack. It's just amusing to me. The music used this year was also very well picked. There is a mix of the more classic panto songs, such as If I Were Not in Pantomime. I could carry that on. If I were not in pantomime. I'm not going to. You're welcome. There is songs like that, but there is also pop songs such as Could It Be Magic by Take That. Always a fan of a Take That song, not gonna lie. There is also the classic Christmas songs like All I Want for Christmas Is You, which is sung twice. Amazing. It's always really exciting to see how people are going to take on that high note, and everyone who performed it did it brilliantly. There was even a little couple of nods to musical theatre. In the second act there is a slightly adapted version of Revolting Children from Matilda. However, they were the Revolting Minors, and that was sung by the Dwarfs. Speaking of the Dwarfs, let's get into them because they were one of my highlights of the show this year. In the Wolverhampton Grand production of this show, the dwarfs, who are more normally called the miners, because I mean it works on two levels. They are minors, but they're also minor in size. In this production, they are played by puppets, ingenious, beautiful little puppets who are designed by the set and costume designer, who is David Shields, and who are supplied by Joe Peak. They are then, obviously because they're puppets, they can't move by themselves, so they are puppeteered by the ensemble, who I will get into very shortly, because I have a lot to say about that ensemble. But they were so brilliant, those puppets and those miners. Each of them had a distinct look from each other. They had their own personalities. They had slightly different names from the ones you know from, say, Disney, but they all had their own personalities, their own little characters, their own special costumes, and I just truly enjoyed seeing them on the stage and watching them throughout. And like I said, they were used and they were puppeteered by the amazing ensemble members. So let's get into them. So this year the ensemble is 8 people strong with 1 swing. Just to give them their moment, the ensemble are Elliot Baker Costello, Charlie Donnelly, Lucy Nolan, Elise Prosser, Jack Skelton, Ollie Thomas Smith, Daniel Walford and Leonie Wall, and the swing is Eliza Waters. That ensemble are literally non-stop. They not only puppeteered the miners throughout the show when needed, they were also producing backing vocals both on and off stage. They were also at one point part of a tap dancing song, and on top of that they start the show on skates. They are ice skating on a little pool at the back of the stage. It was just amazing to watch each individual ensemble member throughout this show, and top marks to Tam Ryan, who at the end of the show, after the bows, during his small amount of speeches, shouted out that ensemble, because it truly highlighted how amazing they were. And yeah, it was absolutely excellent to see them. Just amazing, literally amazing. Each pantomime needs a good magical character and a bad magical character, and obviously in each pantomime they have different names. In this show we had as the evil stepmother magical character Queen Dragonella, who was played by the wonderful Nikki Colwell Evans. She was just the right amount of evil. She worked well with the crowd, took the boos, took everything in her stride, had a brilliant moment in Act 2 when one of her magical props didn't be so magical, and she worked it out like a pro. Obviously Nikki has been in theatre productions such as Blood Brothers in her past, and it was just amazing to watch Nikki in the flesh, so to speak. She also bounced excellently alongside her other characters that she spends a lot of time with, including Snow White, and also her magical sister Elementa, who is the good magical character, who is played by Kelly Bryan. They work so well together, and the fact that their little arc finishes with a mashup of a few classic disco tunes, including Sister Sledge's We Are Family, was just amazing and got the whole crowd on their feet, which is brilliant. And the vocals on the pair of them, stunning. All in all, this was another great pantomime. It had the magic, it had the comedy, it had the slapstick, it had everything. It had skating, for goodness sake. It was literally like somebody sat in a room and was like, right, we did this last year, how can we top it? And someone gave like 4 million ideas and they threw every single one in there. But it didn't seem like too much. Yes, it had skating in it, but the skating was in there for a reason. And yes, it had everything going on, but it just worked. And I just really enjoyed myself. The cast was excellent, the music choice was also brilliant, the set was stunning and done in-house. That was another thing that was mentioned by Tam in his speeches. Everything that was on that stage was done by the Wolverhampton Grand, and I loved it. It was absolutely amazing. Of course, with it being pantomime, there is obviously going to be a few cautionary warnings, such as haze, flashing lights, pyrotechnics, which weren't actually too loud. They are the little psst, fizzy kind of lights, which I can take. And also a little bit of snow and a few flying objects. And if you are going to be in the stalls towards the front, you may get a little bit wet from the good old-fashioned water pistol. But if you are looking for a fun afternoon or evening out at the theatre before Christmas and you're in the West Midlands, definitely check out the Wolves Grand Panto. It is such fun. And I almost can't wait for next year's production, which has already been announced. Next year they will be doing Beauty and the Beast, and who can say no to that, my friends? But it was an excellent time. I'm so grateful that Emmy from Theatre and Tonic asked if I could go and watch it again and review it, because I have the best time every time I see a Grand Theatre panto. And it's just the perfect way to round out the year, and yet again that is definitely the case. I probably won't get a chance to see much more theatre before the year is out, and if that was my last show of the year, I am 100% okay with it. Go and grab yourself a ticket if you are in the Midlands. And yeah, one last thing to say, and that is about relaxed performances. Obviously being accessible to everybody, the Grand Theatre have put on 2 different accessible and relaxed performances, which are on Friday the 15th of December at 11 AM and also Saturday the 16th of December at 11 AM. If the idea of or singing or dancing slightly hazy, slightly pyrotechnic-y, flashing lighty pantomime is a bit too much, then definitely check out those relaxed performances. But yeah, go and check it out. I've said that about 3 times. I'm going to round off this video to just go and buy yourself a ticket, and I will see you hopefully soon. So all that's left to say is this: I love you all lots. I hope you come back for more theatre craziness and fun in the not too distant future. I have been trying to put out more videos recently, with it being December and just getting in with the festive spirit. It hasn't gone well so far, but hold your hats because it's coming. I'm going to leave you here and say thank you very much for watching. I love you all lots, and I shall see you next time. Jazz hands to finish. Bye.